In this episode of Travelogue, we'll take you to Greece, the cradle of Western civilization. We'll hear the legends of Zeus and Athena and other gods and goddesses. Let the cool Mediterranean waters revive your spirit in this romantic corner of southeastern Europe.
People call it the cradle of Western civilization. It's a place where democracy was born, where great philosophers, mathematicians, and literary scholars came into being. Well, in my opinion, that doesn't matter. For me, this place is simply awe-inspiring. And you know, just like China was the birthplace of Eastern culture, Athens, Greece was where it all happened on the West. And today, we're going to take you and look around. Welcome to Travelogue. I'm Yin. The capital of Athens became known as the motherland of Western civilization in the 5th century during Greece's Golden Age. Greece's history included a succession of dominations by Macedonians, Romans, Byzantines, and Turks, so Greek culture blends aspects of each into its own unique culture. The ancient Greek culture revolved around religion. In fact, Athens got its name from the goddess of wisdom, Athena. Even the first Olympic Games founded in Greece were held to honor the god of gods, Zeus. The Games helped unify the Greek city-states every 4 years, a sacred time when wars were put to a stop. Athens has much to offer, but no matter where you are in Athens, a train, a bus, a car, or simply walking along the street, there's something you can't miss. A stunning view of the High City, the most famous site in Greece and a symbol of Western civilization, the Acropolis. Speak of Greece, and the Acropolis and Parthenon will come to everyone's mind. The temple's main function was to house the offerings to the gods. The most impressive offering was a statue of Athena. Unfortunately, the statue was lost during the late Roman Empire. Wow. Here we have the symbol of Western civilization, known for its history and also for its beauty, almost just as beautiful as the goddess it worshipped, Athena. That's built around the 5th century BC. And you see, besides just the history behind it all, you also know it for its architectural structure and uniqueness of it. If you look at the sides, you see the pillars actually aren't straight. They're built in like that. And they curve around the front. And that's because, sort of like an optical illusion, it sort of emphasizes the beauty and the light and the shadows. The Parthenon is the most famous structure perched above the Acropolis. Construction began in 447 BC at the height of Athenian power. Its Doric style is simple yet strong. It's not surprising that the temples of ancient Greece were the biggest and most beautiful, as they were dedicated to the gods. The carvings here depict the tales of Greek mythology, the peace and war between men and gods. The Parthenon has the reputation of being the most perfectly angled calculated temple. The temple was built to look most beautiful from the outside, since the Greeks gathered outside the temple to worship. Next to the Parthenon is another structure of the Ionic style, which is thinner and more elegant. Its roof is supported by 6 maidens. Above the Acropolis, there's 2 main temples. First is the one everyone knows about, the Parthenon, and of course it was dedicated to Athena, whose name gave the name of the city, Athens. And over here, in stark contrast, is the temple of Erechtheos. Erechtheos was the god of the underworld. And you see, the architectural structure is kind of different from the Parthenon. The pillars are very thin and elegant, whereas the Parthenons are very thick. And on top, you see the little swirls? It's very feminine. Can you imagine? A long, long time ago, these structures were dark red, they were dark blue, vast array of colors. Today, we have this. Although most of us know the structure as being pure white, the Parthenon and Erechtheion were at least partly painted in the past. Some people believe that the upper parts were painted with bright colors so that the sculptures would stand out in greater relief when seen from below. This color has faded with time and leaves us with what we have today. Below the Acropolis is the theater of Herod Atticus, built by the Romans in 161 AD. It's actually still used today for classical concerts, ballet, and world-class performances like Yanni. It preserves the original feel of ancient Greek theaters, but is equipped to support today's grand performances. Further is the Theater of Dionysius, the first stone theater. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the oldest Greek theater, and there's a capacity for about 14,000 people, although at the time there were only 3,000 or 4,000 Athenians. That proves that many people came from other city-states to watch the plays, which were free. All the tickets were paid for by the richest Athenian in the area. Something you'll find a lot of in Athens is marble, and there's a large presence of the structures made of marble because of, you see, the presence of these rocks. And this rock actually has a lot of history behind it. In the 7th century BC, there was a Supreme Court that was located right on top of that rock, and it's out in the open, so there were benches along the sides and people there engaging in court cases. I guess a sign of democracy. And this rock here also serves as a natural barrier. There's one rock here. Over here, that little hill, and then finally, the rock over there. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's where court cases were held, right on top of this rock. And if you could defend yourself, that's fine. But if you can't, you can also get a lawyer from the Agora, which is back there. You see that structure with the pillars? It was the center of activity. Every day, the philosophers and the politicians would gather there and exchange their ideas and see what was up. And so, along with them came the merchants slowly afterwards, because they decided to find a place where they could sell all their items on the central square. Agora means place of gathering in Greek. The Agora of Athens was the birthplace of ancient Greek democracy and served as a commercial, political, religious, and cultural center. It was usually large, rectangular in shape, surrounded by buildings, statues of athletes and gods and politicians. And today's landscape shows little trace of its past splendor. Today's Agora exudes a serenity, like that of after the rocks have been shaped smooth by the passage of time. Amazing. From the Acropolis, you get a view of the city of Athens. And you see, at the foot here, you see the plakas, which are the most traditional houses. They're built in the neoclassical style. And you see their little red roofs? They're different from the rest of Athens. As we spread out, you get a view of the modern city with high skyscrapers and buildings of all sorts. As we move out even further, You see that point over there? It's the highest point in Athens. It's a chapel at the top. And from there, you get the view of the entire city. Mount Lycopettus, or the Hill of Wolves literally, provides the best view of Athens. There is nothing like sitting above the mountain on a sunny day, looking down at the magical Greek scenery. Indeed, blessed by the gods. Another good thing to do is to check out the Plaka neighborhood. Some buildings are old mansions, well preserved, and others worn down by time. This is a view of the old neighborhood here in Athens. Mixed with these old buildings are the lavish department stores and boutique shops, restaurants, and traditional taverns. Also, you can find some local artists. And of course, the local delicacies. Some artists come from far and wide to show us their craft. Like here, these artists from Ecuador are showing us their family art. I believe it's finger painting. Amongst local streets, you can find a big melting pot of flavor. Athens is a friendly city, enlivened by busy outdoor cafes and a laid-back spirit. If you want to experience the lifestyle, you'll come to understand that this is a busy, yet calm, eccentric European city. You know, Greeks love food, and so do I. Traditional Greek cooking grew out of the cooking of rural people who weren't well off, but wealthy in creativity. Traditional dishes include a variety of rich foods, like this Greek hamburger. Is this lamb or beef?
Lamb. Beef. Lamb kebab. Just a minute.
This is the beef. Enjoy. Enjoy. The Greek hamburger is souvlaki, but the other items I'm not even going to try to pronounce. You see, in this famous restaurant or taverna, it's more like a Greek grandma's kitchen. With family pictures all around, we feel right on at home. And like a good friend, the owner is passionate and friendly about his cooking. Here, ingredients are 100% fresh, food is 100% delicious, and people 100% wholehearted.
Hi.
We're going to have our first traditional dish today.
The first is the Greek salad.
Okay, Greek salad over
it's
here.
Tomato, cucumber, and feta cheese and onion.
Okay, what kind of feta cheese you said?
Feta cheese.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that the most popular type?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what else do we have with that?
This is the tzatziki.
Tzatziki.
This is the yogurt with garlic.
Yogurt with garlic.
Yes.
But
very nice.
It's
with
not
your
sweet.
bread. Not sweet.
It's not sweet. Okay.
This is a fried eggplant.
Fried eggplant. It's a hot dish, right?
And this is dolmades. Greek name dolmades.
Dolmades?
Dolmades. It's stuffed vine leaves.
Stuffed vine leaves.
With rice and beef inside.
Rice and beef inside.
Yes. And after I have moussaka and a kebab and something gyros. You know the gyros? The
gyros?
Yes.
Are gyros the most popular item?
Yes.
We'll give it a try later.
Yeah.
We'll give it a try later.
Later.
Later, okay.
Come sit down now and to eat and drink the special wine.
What is this called?
Retsina.
Retsina. This is wine. Okay. So here I have everything in front of me, and I'm about to engage on an eating binge. Let's go. Today's Athens is a modern city, alive and on the go. However, some things just don't change. For Greeks, eating is an essential part of bonding and socializing. They take their time, they sip some wine with their meal, savor their bites, and chew to the sounds of music. The Greeks love the sea, perhaps more than any other people in the world. It's a beautiful element with godlike powers, and because of the seemingly endless coastline here and the position at the crossroads of most ancient shipping lanes, Greek seamen are natural navigators. Since ancient times, the Greeks have relied on the sea for their livelihood, and you see, before the tourism industry went to a boom, men used to go off to sea, either in fishing or in trade. Even today, you'll see these little ships docked by the water. And men use these ships now as a means of transportation. Just like most of us use roads and cars, they use their boats and the sea. And it's sort of formed a lifestyle as well. You see the little residential houses off in the background? Well, most people now live a very casual, worry-free, carefree life by the ocean breeze. The Piraeus port has been the port for Athens for more than 2,500 years. And it's here that you can get a feel for the traditional lifestyle. No hustle and bustle, just sitting by the water, looking at a paper, doing some business. Greeks still cherish that culture and preserve aspects of a fisherman's life in their everyday life. Another interesting site is the Temple of Poseidon at Sunion, a 1-hour drive from Athens. Now, because of the all-important sea, there was of course Poseidon, the sea god. Poseidon is known to be very roughly tempered. Sometimes he was in a good mood, and he calmed the seas and helped fishermen. When he wasn't feeling so well, he struck the ground with his trident, causing springs, earthquakes, and even shipwrecks. Thus, he was the man to please. Poseidon was brother to Zeus, the god of gods, and just like Zeus ruled the sky, Poseidon was lord of the seas. Though he lost out to Athena, Zeus's daughter, for the city of Athens, he built an equally impressive temple out here. The Greeks were polytheistic in their religious beliefs, and their gods often represented different forms of nature. They sort of resembled human beings in their form and their emotions, and they even lived in a society that was similar to human society. However, the big difference was that gods never died. They were immortal and very, very strong. It's no wonder this location was chosen for the temple of the sea god Poseidon. While above the mountain, we're overlooking the vast sea, and actually it's the start of the Aegean Sea. Don't underestimate the power of the sea, because control of it meant control of trade, control of communication, and control of links with the rest of the world. The archaeological sites today seem pretty empty, but actually the structures and artifacts were placed in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. This place houses some of the most important artifacts from a variety of archaeological locations all over Greece. Standing here, I feel like the pictures in my history textbook are coming to life right before my eyes. And I guess the best way to learn about a country is through their museum, like this one, the Greek National Archaeological Museum. And around here, it feels like I've been taken back to a time of gods, where I can live in their environment and even breathe the same air as them. When we think about ancient Greeks and the ancient country, it's usually the 5th century which commands our undivided attention. This is the period known as Classical or Golden Period. It's the age of great historians and great dramatists like Sophocles and Aeschylus, and the brilliant philosopher Socrates. The 5th century is also regarded as the time when Greeks embraced their experiment in direct democracy, which later gave rise to Western civilization. There are objects here from thousands of years of history. And although I can't exactly understand or figure out what most of them are used for, I can see the strong and heavy history each one bears. Many of their art forms are also on display. It's believed that everywhere in Greece there's a piece of history just a few meters below the ground. Like even in the subway, meters below the earth lies a whole bunch of pots, pans, artifacts, all sorts of things. And probably the most famous statue in the museum is right behind me. It's known for its rendering of motion and also the exquisite body. Although it's debatable whether it's a depiction of Zeus or Poseidon, maybe that's not what's important. Instead, what we can learn from this is the Greeks' worship of the gods. This wonderful bronze structure features this prominent god getting ready to throw his weapon. Unfortunately, there is no weapon right now. It's been lost. So we can't determine whether it's Zeus tossing a lightning bolt or Poseidon throwing his trident. Other structures here sort of help us commemorate the different periods in Greek's history. Wow, that's quite a big naked man over there. And you see, he doesn't stand alone, because there were many of these naked youth structures that developed in the 7th century BC. They typically have a standard pose, the left foot out here in the front and the right foot in the back, arms at the sides. And they usually stood outside some of the temples as a sacrifice to the gods. They represent beauty, youth, and hope in the future. Greece has always been a magical city for me. Since elementary school, I read of the mighty Zeus, the moody Poseidon, and the virtuous Athena. It all seemed like a giant fantasy world, a world I could only dream of. Although walking through today's Athens is similar to strolling through other cities in the world, cafes, sunshine, and plenty of people, there is still that special element of magic in the air. The Greeks are proud to be the founders of the Olympics, of democracy, of Western civilization, and simply of being Greek. And they sure have reason to be. In the modern world, it seems like the speed of everything has gone up, way up. But you know, Greeks still know how to keep it cool and relaxed. You can find them fishing by the water, hanging out with their kids, and, ooh, feeding the pigeons. But you know, they always know how to say, Yasa, to your health. Keep it cool. See you next time on Travelogue.